one more time this season in San Diego. This is the Pro Volleyball Federation on the Roku Sports Channel. Regular season match number 28 for both teams. Tonight, the Indy Ignite visiting the San Diego Mojo in the season finale for both of these squads. The Ajas Arena, San Diego is the site, and the bracket heading into the PVF Championship starting on Friday, May 9th in Vegas. It will be the 4-seed Indy Ignite against the 1-seed Omaha Supernovas coming up in less than a week. And thank you so much for joining us alongside Victoria Dennis. I'm AJ Cannell. We know Indy is going to the postseason as that 4-seed. However, the Ignite have lost 6 of their last 7 coming into this one. So how do they get things turned around going towards the playoffs?
Indy has to lay that foundation heading into postseason play. It starts with a first ball contact, trying to get that offense running. San Diego has to play serious, locked-in, disciplined defense.
And Veronica Stone will be key on both sides of the ball. Really, really talented middle for the Mojo.
Stone is so fun to watch defensively, offensively, defensively, reading and reacting every single time she's at the net. Offensively, getting up in transition, creating opportunity on her side, and having that range, both hard crossbody and thumbs down.
And on the other side, Indy still moving some parts around. An outside hitter, Katie Baird, is back in the lineup today.
Indy in the latter part of the season, but has made waves for the team. She's a big spark plug offensively. In serve receive, takes a lot of space with confidence.
It's time now for our starting lineups, brought to you by Ren Athletics. Nina Chaich goes down to the practice squad dealing with a minor injury. Anna DeBeer, basically a load management day, was the description from the coaching staff, coming off a career-high 25 kills in their 5-set loss against Atlanta. So it's Baird and Scott on the outside. Lydia Martin makes her first appearance in several matches in the middle. And for the home team, the San Diego Mojo, mostly the expected group. The one exception is Elise McGee will get the nod. Recently, it had been Lauren Page. One of their top point scorers, Yasmin Badart-Hani, has been on and off the active roster recently, managing an injury. She is their top scoring right side, but they're going with the rookie out of Baylor, Elise McGee, today. And keep an eye on Reagan Pittman, their other middle, along with Veronica Stone. Pittman is #1 in the league in blocks per set. Taiba Hanif Park, second year as the head coach of the San Diego Mojo. Last year led the team to the PVF semis, where they lost to Omaha, the exact matchup that Indy is getting ready for. Led by George Padgett, the Ignite are an expansion team, the only new team this year of the 8 in the Pro Volleyball Federation. What an accomplishment, Vic, for them to make the postseason in year 1.
It's very impressive, and it's just the beginning for Indianapolis volleyball. It's going to be very fun to see them try and punch that $1 million check.
And I think maybe on the prescription today for the Ignite, knowing they've had some struggles recently, just take a little bit of a chill pill, release some of that pressure, getting very zen to start this match, and we'll see what Hilly does. Okay, there's going to be a replay review on the first point of the match. The buzzer sounded.
San Diego is challenging the center line fault.
Addition to the lineup as we wait for this call. They're challenging a center line fault. Grace Wade is actually going to be in there at opposite for Indy, and they're going to give Ajani Teeler, as described for a couple of the other players, just a chance to take a seat and get rested, make sure she's healthy for the postseason.
These athletes have put on a lot of mileage, and especially coming into that postseason play, they'll have a little bit of time to pick their feet up, get in the zen mode, and try and rest a couple shoulders, couple knees coming into postseason. But Indy has the depth on their bench that gives them that opportunity to run different lineups.
So there is no center line fault. The call was challenged by San Diego, stopping the point. If you challenge a call and stop an active point and you lose that challenge, well, then you lose the point, even though the point was still in progress. If they had won the challenge, obviously Indy would have been called for that center line fault. So a little bit of a slow start to this one, but now we're underway, really. That was an actual point, and San Diego ties the score at 1.
Mojo is going to have to focus on that first ball side out. Moore is doing a very good job swinging high hands.
Hilly giving it to CC Crawford. Shara Venegas has the dig, but CC blocks Reagan Pittman. A fun matchup in the middle.
CC's eye work is unmatched. She has very disciplined eye work, giving her this opportunity to track the attacker out in front of her and grab nothing but ball. Watch as she dives back in, taking space, that left hand pressing fast.
That's an all Big Ten matchup between those two. Wisconsin against Minnesota, and it is Wisconsin in that double block. Crawford next to Hilly.
It starts with Hilly lining up in front of her attacker, allowing her middle to close and take so much area at the net.
Good serve by Grace Wade, who we've been told has been lighting it up in practice. That won't go as an ace, but it was about as close as it gets, and a point-scoring serve for Grace Wade.
Wade is staying consistent with her toss contact, giving her this opportunity to hit it flat.
Hilly looking for Carly Scott. She's been getting some starts later on in the season. Other times playing in a defensive specialist or serving role. Sponsor to Elise McGee. She'll take most of her swings today on the right side, but connects with a left side kill in that rotation.
McGee had a great showing just the other night against Columbus. I expect her to carry that momentum into tonight.
Played a couple of sets off the bench, her first time appearing in multiple sets since March 9th. That was a 3-set sweep for San Diego against Columbus. And Tabron helps turn defense to offense.
Tabron keeping it crafty on the left side. Great volley IQ from her to recognize the defense shifted from Indy, giving her this opportunity to then go high up over the block, placement not power.
Tabron has cooled off a little bit recently. There was a stretch mid-March through mid-April where she was just going crazy. Her stats just leaving the paper there for a moment. So showing her potential this year as a rookie out of SMU. Maya Tabron, number 31 in blue, as Janasia Moore will serve this one away. Deep serve. Expect teams to target Baird if she's in there. Carly Scott takes it on a system swing. The scoop from Venegas. McGee steers that one to a nice part of the floor for the kill.
Can the Mojo earn in transition and serve tough from the end line? That's how they could possibly beat the Ignite this evening.
And that ends a 4-0 run, that kill from Grace Wade.
Wade being an attacker in the back row is a huge advantage. It really opens up the offense for your team, and especially on the right side, gives Hilly the chance and opportunity to go against the flow.
You know, come the postseason, it's likely Carly Scott is going to play a key serving sub role for Indy. She misses that serve. She gets the start tonight at outside with Anna DeBeer and Nina Chajic getting rested for tonight's match.
Yeah, I expect Scott to show up and fill that outside hitter role. She's a BG player, athlete, plays on the AVP as well.
Katie Baird out of Stanford. Block touch against her, and Tabron ricochets it through the block and down.
Tabron will challenge any block in the PVF. She is not afraid to shy away. It doesn't matter that Ignite has all four hands across the top of the tape. She's going to challenge.
Chajic was replaced by Lydia Martin. Good to see her back on the active roster today. Elena Scott, the set. Katie Baird, the swing. Sponsel away from the attack line, sets Tabron taking some good swings. Dug by Scott. That never made contact with San Diego. So a hitting error on Carly Scott. And San Diego makes it 8-5.
Scott trying to turn that back to the sideline, just caught it a little bit too low.
3-point advantage at the technical timeout early on. Franklin Sports is a proud partner of the Pro Volleyball Federation on the Roku Sports Channel. Well, as far as sightlines go, it doesn't get much better than this. And as far as volleyball goes, it doesn't get much better than this. The PVF, the end of year 2 in the regular season, less than a week away from the semifinals in Vegas. Starting on May 9th, the Ignite will be playing Omaha at 8 o'clock Eastern time in the early match. It'll be the 2-seed Atlanta against the 3-seed Orlando in the late match. That'll be 10:30 Eastern. Crawford on the slide, and CC Crawford coming off a game where she had just 4 kills in 5 sets, along with 4 hitting errors, so looking for a bounce back today.
Hilly wants to spread her offense when she's in the front row. That's why she ran CC behind, going pin to pin, opening up that opportunity to hit cross.
That ends a 7-1 run. Stone looking to start a new run, but Grace Wade picks it up. Venegas to Tabron. Looks like Tabron has something cooking in the early going.
Tabron has showed us multiple tools early on in this ball game. That last one going thumbs down, contacting the ball outside of her shoulder so she could beat that block inside.
2024 with SMU, she was on the All-ACC second team. It's off to a 3-for-4 start.
Ace to error ratio is gonna play a difference here for the Mojo. I expect them to try and keep challenging the service line because they have to get Ignite out of system.
Yeah, Indy really wants to get the passing dialed in, heading toward the postseason. That wasn't a good set from Scott, normally very good in that second contact when she needs to take it. Janasia Moore was looking for contact, but nothing there.
Scott in the libero jersey does have a consistent second ball contact. She's able to lift the ball with apex. I expect her to continue to do that this evening.
Sydney Hilly, very good server from the setting position. Sponsel has to bump set. Perfect dig by Elena Scott. And Baird rips that one through the hands.
Baird swinging high and through on that ball. Great tempo set to the antenna, allows her to find those high hands.
She started 4 straight matches. She was signed to the team on March 25th. The last 3, though, has come off the bench in 2 and DNP'd in 1. Getting another look, and Baird with the roof.
Baird lining up and pressing fast across that tape, allowing her to clamp down on that ball quickly. She's not reaching up towards the ball. She's going fast across the tape.
Big runs back and forth. Now a 4-0 Indy run. Baird once again. Katie Baird showing what her 6'3" frame can do on the outside.
Baird clamping down on that ball, bringing her left shoulder and hip around, forcing that ball back down onto the court.
That is one of the best slide hitters in the country in Ronica Stone right there, and Baird right up there on her own, soloed her.
Just doing her job. Baird lining up. Stone came into her zone on that left side. She bodied her up and just squared up, pressed back down into the court.
Yeah, Baird's going to be their first option off the bench come the postseason. It's really going to be interesting to see what Indy does. I mean, as of right now, their plan is to go with Hannah DeBeer. George Paget said about her that if she's going to go down, she's going to go down swinging. And I don't think there's too many players that George Paget trusts more than DeBeer. So expect her to be in the lineup. They've been going with Chaich lately. I wouldn't be surprised, this is just me talking, if Katie Baird plays a very important role at some point once you get to the playoffs.
I think so. Baird is going to have to come into a role where it's going to be a possible fifth set. We see a substitution. She needs to come in, get a block against a big slide player just like we saw.
She had some really good matches after signing. She had 28 kills and a 354 efficiency in a match against Vegas. This time tipped over by Ronica Stone. Baird gets a swing and hits it on the angle.
Baird staying steady and true, just doing a really great job of attacking high into the seam. She's step close into the apex of the volleyball every single time. On this out-of-system ball, takes half a beat and then goes fast to beat that block.
A couple of stuff blocks, a couple of kills for Baird, and it's Tabron. She is contributing in a major way in the first set.
Tabron will continue to carve up the defense of Ignite. They have to play disciplined some defense against Tabron because she will read and then at the last second go with an off-speed shot.
Gets Indy out of system with the serve. Sponsel to Moore, and Grace Wade with the stuff block.
Wade one-on-one blocking and just taking space. When you're solo blocking as a pin athlete, you have to dive hard cross every single time. That's exactly what Wade did.
Well, a missed serve, but already 5 team stuff blocks for Indy in the first set. That's a huge number.
Huge set, and we're only halfway through the first set. They're locked in defensively. They know their scouting report. They're reading and reacting.
That's double their per set average on the season. Lydia Martin trying to work her way back into the lineup, and it was hard to tell live, but she actually got that down on the San Diego side for the kill.
Martin up on setter ball contact. She's really good at reaching high around her opponent's block.
Dealing with a lower back injury. They've been managing her, and she's been sat the last few matches, just trying to get her reintegrated before the postseason. So George Padgett said to us before the match that they expect Lydia Martin to maybe play the first set, and we'll see from there, but I wouldn't expect the whole match from Martin today. Jump serve from Sponsel. Billy to Scott. That was a good choice, and Scott converts.
Scott swinging into that seam of the Mojo. Only one blocker out there, giving her this opportunity to swing hard and away, fast challenging that seam. Watches Scott step closest to this ball and then unleashes with a fast arm swing.
Mentioned plays on the AVP. Was a star indoors at Michigan and then on the beach at Pepperdine. Pittman throws down the gap set.
Coming off of a really great game against Columbus on Thursday evening. She's consistent in transition, a huge spark plug for the Mojo.
The second year, former 4th round pick by Columbus, Janasia Moore with the serve. Scott wallops that one, but is well outside of the line. And so Indy trying to get to 16 and trigger the timeout, having trouble getting there. San Diego back within 1 with Moore once again to serve. Carly Scott hits line, and that is out. But there's going to be a challenge here for a block touch.
Indy is challenging block touch.
Tonight's R1 is Bill Thornburg. And the R2 helping with these replay reviews and other administrative tasks at the scorer's table is Young Park. The most common challenge in the PVF, given that the in-out line calls are automated, the block touch call, you're liable to see certain matches where you can see 10 to 15 of these. Other matches, not as many. It just kind of depends.
These athletes are hitting at such a high clip. Indy will earn that block touch and point. Great call by Indy. It's a very close ball game. These athletes are hitting so fast that with the naked eye, it's kind of hard to see sometimes.
Yep, and that's why you have the 22 HD cameras of Bolt 6, and that gives Indy its 16th point of the first set, which means a timeout on the court. The Mojo working on a 3-match home winning streak, trying to close out their season and make it 4. They come in tied for 6th in the standings with Vegas at 10 and 17. They know they're not going to the playoffs like Indy will be. But curious, Victoria, what would be your thought process behind San Diego and just their overall mindset in a situation like this where they know this will be the end of the road regardless?
End the season on a good note, and you want to come out, you want to play next season, you want to lay that foundation coming into off-season play and just really try and go out swinging.
Got a whole new rookie draft class coming in next year. going to be very competitive to make next year's rosters. So you have players trying to compete, prove themselves, like Janasia Moore with that diving dig. This will be Baird. Excellent out-of-system swing from Katie Baird.
Great patience on the side of the Ignite, staying patient during the long rallies and taking advantage during an out-of-system play. They're doing a really great job of staying patient and then step closing inside, going with the momentum of that inside set.
Nobody celebrates an ace like the Ignite, meanwhile. Carly Scott dishing one out, and everyone goes into, I guess you'd say, airplane mode.
There you go. Back-to-back momentum plays for the Ignite as they head into the red zone.
That's been a huge issue this year for the Mojo, struggling to pass. Reagan Pittman tops in the league in blocks per set at .92.
Pittman at the right place, at the right time, consistently for San Diego. It's her big crossover step that gets her there and just pressing her hand back into the court.
You zoom into the last 9 matches coming in, Pittman is over a block per set during that sample size. Once again, Baird can't blister it through. Carly Scott finds the setter. Pittman takes the second ball. And that is a missed shot by Tabron. So Indy gets to 20.
Hilly is so fun to watch setting number 2 for Ignite. She is all over the place, setting the ball from her knees, creating opportunity on the side of Indy.
Got ahead of myself. Indy gets to 19. McGee. Well, now Indy gets to 20. The Ignite allowed a 7-1 run early in the set, but ever since that first technical timeout, it has been the Ignite with all of the energy.
Mojo have to work for a first ball controlled contact for the side out.
Good serve by Cece Crawford. Kylie Murs all over that touch. Baird rips one from the outside.
And this is the foundation Ignite want to set coming into postseason play. As they close into the red zone here, trying to get to 25 first, they're talking to each other. They're looking each other in the eye. They're making sure every contact is with intention.
Baird hitting 3 for 11. Now make it 4 for 12. Updates after that swing. 4 for 12 in the first set for Katie Baird. Stone gets an easy one there, although arguably made it look easier than it was.
Taking advantage of the overpass. An unforced error we don't really see from Ignite too often, but Stone just doing her job and patrolling the net, throwing that ball down.
I had to lean back a little bit, so I was, as soon as I said easy, it's like, hold on a second. It might look easy, but maybe not so much. Veronica Stone.
We'll get you out there, AJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the reps in.
Easy for me to say is what it really is. As Tabron, I think, got that one against Lydia Martin.
Tabron bodying up the attacker out in front of her. Watch as she goes head up on this ball, being able to solidify that block.
Baird coming through the middle. She evades the triple block.
Ignite having fun, staying crafty, running different routes offensively because they have the tools in the toolbox to do so. Hilly does a great job of distributing her setting, and even with 3 up, Bird is still able to run that X and score.
Scott hits the floor, but Baird is rejected.
Huge block for the Mojo. They have to play serious defense to get back into this ball game. It starts with eye work, tracking your attacker out in front, and then pressing back into that court.
Tabron's had a couple of stuffs recently. For the previous point, there was a dub sub for San Diego. Dayong Lee to Yasmin Bedart-Hani. That was the substitution. Both of them came in, and they connect right there.
Venegas with a dig for Mojo, staying patient, reading and reacting, diving and extending all the way through that ball. She keeps her shoulders down, watches she pushes off her back foot, lifting the ball on the side of the Mojo to then score.
Mojo back within 3. Hilly against the flow to Grace Wade. Venegas slaps the floor like she loves to do after that impressive dig. Now Stone gets down there, punches it up. Hilly with tempo. Baird puts an end to it after all of that, great defense from San Diego, but too much Katie Baird.
Baird has consistently put up double-digit kills in every game that she's played in for Ignite, besides one. She continues to be that offensive spark plug, has range of opportunity.
So the Ignite within 2 points of the first set. That's a tool kill for Janasia Moore.
The block of Indy drifted a bit, allowing Moore to tool high hands and score that point.
The all-star, last year all PVF second team middle blocker, Veronica Stone. Scott, perfect pass. Martin going over the top, and it's set point for the Ignite.
Great set by Hilly. Hilly is a tall setter. She's standing out there at 6 foot, 6'1". And when she's jump setting, her point of contact is that much higher above the tape, giving her team the opportunity to swing fast.
You got some different middles stylistically to get used to setting. So reintegrating Martin now back into the lineup, even after a few matches only that she missed. You can see them sort of chipping away, working on that setter-hitter connection in the first set. So side out, still 3 more set points to work with, but Yasmin Bedart-Hani has 8. This is her 8th match played, and she already has 11 aces this year. Back set for Wade. Dayong Lee to Janasia Moore. Against the block now Pittman. Lee really forcing it to her. Scott rolls it. Moore plays it out of the backcourt.
There is a virtue in the Mojo have that right now, staying patient and transition, distributing their offense across the board. They like to run their offense, AJ, down the middle of the court. That quick pick is really lethal for San Diego. Now brings them within 2.
So Maya Tabron has had a big first set. Already a 5 for 10 showing in that back row attack, forcing Indy to have to use a timeout. Now 24-22. So you're the serving team here. Let's pretend you're San Diego chipping away. Now having to win still 2 more points on your serve. What are the keys to make that happen?
Serve the 5-6 seam, play disciplined defense, swing high and hard at the block.
Yasmin Bedart-Hani is the right person to have behind the line. She was recalled from, we're going to learn in this league, we say the practice squad, late in the season like this especially, injured reserve, there's a minimum that you'd have to spend on IR. So you have players that have minor injuries. They can basically just go down to the practice squad to give somebody else a chance. What it really was that Bedart-Hani has been nicked up. So she comes back into the lineup after missing 3 matches, but I think she would be among the league leaders in aces if she was playing the whole season. Again, she already has 11 aces, and this is the beginning of her 8th match this year. But San Diego needs 2 more points on its serve. Smashes that one out of play. Gotta be aggressive with the serve. And both Sigs says it was out. So a 25-22 victory for Indy in the first set.
Indy coming out playing disciplined ball, but San Diego getting a little bit of momentum at the end of set number 1. Ignite has to make sure that they come out set number 2 and keep up that first ball side out.
Teams will switch sides. The Indy Ignite taking their show on the road one more time this year before Vegas and winning the first set in San Diego. First set stats are sponsored by FICO. Pro Volleyball Federation is proud to partner with FICO to champion financial literacy. PVF athletes will engage with the league and its communities to provide financial education. Back here in San Diego, the numbers offensively weren't great for either team. Neither team spent a lot of time in system. You see those low numbers on good pass percentage, but Indy just a little bit better in the first set.
Both Indy and San Diego are playing solid defense, and that's why both teams aren't hitting at high of efficiency as we usually see them. 4 blocks for San Diego, 5 for Indy, 16 digs apiece. The front row defense on both sides of the net right now, slowing down the ball a lot, getting a lot of block touches, giving that backcourt a little bit of room to breathe.
And San Diego playing in its regular season finale, hosting Sydney Hilly and the Indy Ignite. And the plan we were told coming in was that Hilly was going to play the first set, and then she was likely going to sit. So Anise Havili, who was the backup setter last year for Alicia Glass-Childress in Vegas, and now this year for Sydney Hilly in Indy. Those are two difficult players to back up because you don't get a lot of time on the court normally in those situations. So Havili is going to covet this opportunity here to likely play the rest of this match.
Havili's an elite setter. She holds the assists record at Kansas during her time there, over 5,200 assists for her.
Big swing from Bedart Hani. One more footnote on Havili, just getting her scouting report from the Indy coaching staff. They really don't think there are too many holes in her game. Super athletic, a veteran, professional, great locker room presence, has good location on her sets. They have full confidence in Havili when she's in there, and it's Havili to Nady Okamore, who is checked in for Indy as well. She started the last two matches and has played a key role recently, now coming off the bench today with Lydia Martin back.
Here's a look at Havili's athleticism, taking that tight ball and creating opportunity in the middle.
That is absolutely crushed down the line. What a shot by Tabron, just punching that thing.
Tabron keeping her shoulders square cross court and then swinging back down the side of her body, opening up that line.
That was nearly impossible to even think about digging. Bedart Hani leans into that jump serve and misses.
Set currently front row for San Diego. Watch for them to spread that offense.
Sarah Sponsel began the match. It's Dayan Lee out there along with Bedart Hani. They both subbed in the first set. They're starting the second set of the match. Denasia Moore. Baird got a piece. Venegas. Tabron. Havili hits Scott. Has to roll it. Bedart Hani's got to put this over from her feet because the set was in front of the attack line. She's a backcourt player. But Grace Wade is blocked.
Patience on the side of Mojo again. Now 5 blocks on the ball game. With Stone in the front row, she's the quarterback of the defense, patrolling that net and really setting the foundation. She's talking to her teammates, letting them know where her attackers are at, and then just getting to that ball quickly.
What's the key to blocking on a softer shot like that?
Delay, see the set, wait, and then grab the ball.
Tabron fits that one underneath the block.
Tabron standing at 6 foot, believe it or not, is an undersized outside hitter at the professional level, but she continues to create opportunity because she has such an explosive step close and uses her entire core to hit the ball.
The definition of undersized is a little bit different at this level. And the NCAA's Tabron using the net there to her advantage.
Sometimes that let serve, it's your best friend or worst enemy, AJ.
He's laughing about it. She'll take it. I always say that's the advantage of trying to serve low. I mean, you get some of those if you're on point with those lower serves. Net fault is called, even though San Diego had the dig. It can actually go as a kill for Katie Baird.
AJ, to touch on your point about serving low across the top of the tape, a lot of times coaches will put an elastic band from antenna to antenna, and you have to serve underneath that band, in between the band and the top of the tape.
I've seen all sorts of different drills to try and encourage those types of serves. I've seen other things, targets that are hung up there on the net as well. Right now someone's got to serve the ball in bounce. Going to be Havili here in rotation 1. Played previously in Sweden, Turkey, and Germany, and last year with the Vegas Thrill. Havili connecting with Baird. Shara Venegas has the dig, and Moore goes off the block. And I love the way Venegas reacts when she digs it. She always slaps the court.
To let you know that ball is up, just in case you didn't see her perfectly dig that ball high middle.
once again, the first time out of the set, San Diego is in front. How about a 7 for 15 with just one error from Maya Tabron?
An all-around athlete offensively, creating opportunities by seeing the defense out in front of her, going high line, challenging the block of Indy, not afraid to be in the right place at the right time. She's not gambling out there. She's reading and reacting on defense as well, and getting up on that big attack in the back row. 7 kills, batting 400, 2 blocks, 1 ace. Not a bad start to a ball game.
That is all-around contribution. Lee serves at Baird. Scott sets Baird. Yasmin Bedart-Hani. Point Indy for now. I thought there was contact live there. I was saying in a recent match that I did, it's usually so tough to tell live. I thought I saw contact right there.
I would have to agree with you, AJ. Venegas also, I just want to talk about her defense during this challenge. It's just insane. She's taking the high ball, center court.
San Diego is challenging the defensive touch,
which is really allowing the offense of the Mojo, Lee now running that at the quarterback position, to take these big grips on the ball. On defense, you don't need a perfect dig on the net to run an in-system offense. High lifted dig, middle of the court with this caliber of setters is a perfect dig.
Well, San Diego, the defensive numbers have been there for them this year. They're second in the league in blocks per set, 2.65. Only Grand Rapids has more. And they're second in the league in digs per set. Only Atlanta has more. Where San Diego has struggled, the passing has been really bad a good part of the season. Only 41% in system. They really have not had pins that they can rely upon to pass whoever they put in there. And then as a result, one might argue, their hitting efficiency, they have good, everyone has players that can terminate, as does San Diego, but they've been out of system way too much, and so they're last in the league in hitting percentage as a result at 186.
It starts with the first ball contact to give that versatility to your offense and instill that confidence in the attackers as well.
They had a season-high 6-match losing streak going into the All-Star break. No wins between January 24th and February 27th. Couldn't quite claw their way back out of that hole. 7-9 since the All-Star break. And see that it's the defensive touch there on Havili. Wasn't a block touch they were looking for. It was that player touch on the back row defense, and the touch was there. If at some point, that's a nice cut shot there from Grace Wade. If at some point San Diego had just gotten it going a little bit, they have these matches late in the season against Indy. They had 2 in close proximity to close the season that could have really mattered, with Indy being the final playoff team, but San Diego just didn't quite ever get on that run.
Right, and it starts again with that first ball contact. Lee also having to play that right back defense before she goes and sets.
Bedart-Hani from the left side. Chicken winged up there by Carly Scott. Been a fun point so far. That was worthy of a floor slap from Venegas. Pittman from the middle. Oh, Havili getting down there. What a net violation on Indy. That was the most entertaining point on both sides so far.
Venegas all over the place, playing defense for the Mojo in that libero jersey. That means she's the best defensive athlete on the floor, and that's exactly why she's not going to let that ball drop exploding through it every single time.
Shara Venegas out of Puerto Rico, already up to 9 digs. That is crushed by Blake Moeller, checking into the lineup here in set 2.
Great setter-hitter connection there out of the middle. Moeller up on setter ball contact, giving her the opportunity to beat the block of the Mojo.
Moeller will serve. Good pass by Moore. Tavron is rejected. Okamore stepping up in front.
With two 6'4" athletes, you have to swing high hands. I expect her to make that adjustment here this next play.
8 blocks in the last 2 matches coming in for Nady Okamore. Pittman brings that one through.
She does a really great job of creating space offensively. She likes to run that gap to find the seam in the Ignite's block. Watch as she creates space on this set, allowing her to challenge the block.
Reagan Pittman, who will now serve, spent some time on injured reserve, and the practice squad earlier in the season has become one of the biggest blocking forces in the league as the season has gone along. That's a miss from Okamore, and Pittman scores a point on her serve.
Mojo doing a really great job of just staying steady, solidifying this lead. With an ace from Pittman, having a dance party.
Last year only played 11 sets for Atlanta. Huge roll increase this year, her 10th ace of the season, and a timeout called for by the Ignite. Volleyball fans, Lee's Family Forum just outside Las Vegas will host the 2nd Pro Volleyball Federation Championship on May 9th and May 11th. The top 4 PVF teams will face off for the opportunity to earn a cool $1 million prize. All session tickets start at just $49, and single day tickets start at $29. They're on sale now at provolleyball.com/tickets. And this bracket is locked in after Omaha defeated Grand Rapids last night to clinch the 1 seed. That locks up an Indy versus Omaha 1 versus 4 matchup, 8 o'clock Eastern time on Friday. And then Orlando against Atlanta in the 2nd match. What do you think? Early thoughts on Indy versus Omaha in the 1st match?
Well, it's going to be a barn burner, that's for sure. Honestly, any team has the ability to walk away with that $1 million. Omaha plays really scrappy defense, which allows them to run that high clip offense. But who knows? It's truly anybody's game.
George Padgett was telling us he feels like his team is in a very favorable spot right now. They're the team with no pressure. They're coming in as the 4 seed. They're not the team that people are expecting to win. And they hope to take advantage of that mindset.
He said, sometimes I have 5 rookies out on the court, and ignorance is bliss sometimes. And they go out and they swing for the fences and they just play the game.
They definitely want to lean into that why not us mindset. Stone with the block. Of course, Indy today, they're resting their players. They had a few of them in there, their starters in the 1st set. And this is essentially their number 2 side in there against San Diego. So we'll see how they do. But just for perspective, it's really right now looking at the court, Elena Scott is the only player out there that I think come the postseason is going to actually be in the starting lineup at libero.
Right, but Indy does have the depth on their bench to try and challenge the Mojo here, but the Mojo not having any part of it.
The Ignite, one of the deeper teams in the league. They absolutely can challenge San Diego with this group. They won the 1st set with a couple more of those starters in. And they've since subbed them out, now trying to come back against the Mojo in the 2nd set.
And I think it's about finding that in-rhythm, game-time mentality and gel. Yes, these athletes train in the practice gym with each other every single day, but going up against the Mojo, it's a different look. Right now, they're being consistent at the service line, which are forcing these unforced errors on the side of the Mojo.
Kylie Murr, crucial defensive specialist, defensive sub this year for Indy with the serve. Lee, back set, Bedard Hani. Scott couldn't keep it up, so a kill for Yasmin Bedard Hani, a big addition for San Diego mid-season.
A great physical athlete, has the ability to go high line, sharp cross, creates opportunity with that big core, using all of her torque to swing high and through that ball, much like an MLB pitcher throws.
12 or more kills 5 times in her 7 appearances since signing. Her big serve earns the overpass and the point for Tabron.
Mojo is not going to go down without a fight. It starts at the service line with that pressure, trying to get Indy out of system. Indy wanted to solidify their passing. They're going to have to lock it in.
(16-11), the Mojo take it into the second technical timeout, up by 5 in the second set. But Ardhani elevated to the active roster today. Her last appearance on April 19th against Vegas. She had a season high 17 kills and 12 digs. Since then, she's been dealing with an apparent leg injury. From what we have heard, and the jump serve. Had a few missed serves, but that's going to come with the territory with how aggressive she is.
Coming out of a timeout or starting a set or for game point, I'd like to see more of a yellow light serve. Try and just keep the ball in, see what happens.
Kylie Murr, a good touch, giving Baird an opportunity, and she converts.
Baird is scoring because she's consistently swinging it deep. She's not trying to bounce the ball on the 10-foot line. She's taking a very high veteran swing, challenging the back foot of the court. Bird going up and through. Great block touch. Perfectly in system set.
That is off the foot of Havili, and Murr gets over there to put it over. Parley Scott digs Stone. Venegas digs Baird. But Ardhani has to two-hand it over toward the middle. Havili takes it. So Scott to Baird. Lee, Stone. The reaction time from both sides. Back set, Okamore. Couldn't quite put it away, clipped the net. But Ardhani out of the back row. That's a good block touch this late in the point. Stone is done by Kylie Murr, playing right back defense. Baird tips it. Stone trying to lift her body up off the court. This is one of the lengthiest rallies of the entire season, maybe in league history. Havili, Okamore, again.
What an extended rally from both Indy and the Mojo. All athletes added gas. Couple athletes tying a shoelace after that rally. But it's the defense that starts at the net, getting those block touches, giving the chance to run such a high clip offense. Defense's heart and attitude in both of these teams are shining through.
Well, that point was so physically taxing that the referee, Bill Thornburg, just out of sympathy to all the players out there, said, let's just everyone take an extra moment after it. And the perfect way to respond after a long point is to ace the opposing team. There's a good moment of humanity there from Bill Thornburg. Let everyone just take an extra half beat.
All 12 athletes still breathing pretty hard after that. Mojo getting an ace to take half a beat.
There normally is a timing limit after each point, and that has been a momentum-feeding point for the Mojo. That really, a few points ago, I believe that was the longest PVF point that I have ever seen. That's the longest rally I have seen since doing these matches.
I have to absolutely agree with you, and the fans for San Diego right now are loud and proud, especially showing that heart, that grit, that, hey, what are we playing for right now? We're playing for pride. We're playing to finish the season on a high note, and that's exactly how they've solidified this 19-13 lead.
Let's take a look back at part of that. Marathon point.
It starts at the net with these controlled block touches, but the defense, the backcourt defense, is dancing around into the seams, creating opportunities. What a dig by Kylie Murr, stepping into that seam. She leads Ohio State dig record for a reason, playing right back defense. Controlled digs in transition, spreading offense, both sides trying to find a kill somewhere, a quick bit, maybe a pin. Both setters are front row. Try to spread that offense as much as they could.
I love that moment, maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds before the end of the point, when Stone had to touch a ball off the net, and she was just having trouble peeling herself off the court because it was such an exhausting point.
Middle blocker is such a hard position to play. You are working pin to pin. You have to close the block, do your job, then get up on a one-tempo set. Very difficult.
That was a much-needed timeout for everyone. A few points later, Indy out of system again. Lee puts it over on two.
Well, both attackers were on the right side of the net. Lee just took advantage of that play. There was probably a little bit of miscommunication. Lee saw that and took the opportunity to send the ball over.
A 4-0 run starting with that marathon point. Dayoung Lee from Iksan, South Korea, had a great start to this season, derailed a little bit by an injury midway through in March. In and out of the lineup recently, rotating with Sponsel. Havili to Okamore. Scott hits Baird, and that's finally down for Katie Baird.
Great high line swing from Baird. I like her challenging that line. There's definitely an opportunity to do so. Great high hand-to-ball contact.
Venegas taking charge, and it's Stone blocked on the slide. Blake Moeller out of Purdue, a fifth-year pro.
Great work by Moeller closing to that ball. She knows Mojo want to find Stone because she's so dynamic off of that 1 foot. Closes to the seam, presses back in.
Serving specialist Isabel Martin coming in for the Ignite. It's her first appearance in the last 4 matches. And she sees one whiz by her head. It's a rude re-entry into the lineup right there. You have to face Veronica Stone and that slide attack.
You have to know that Sloan is going to swing down the line at you if you just sub into the game. That was a great veteran swing.
Indy is challenging a center line fault.
Interested to see what we're looking at here. Center line fault. Saw center line fault on the first challenge on the first point of the match. I feel like everyone still could use an extra moment here after that long rally, so this is a good opportunity for everyone.
Little hydration is key.
Yeah. So your foot has to be all the way across. Wasn't really at all across.
Your foot can step on the center line, just can't go all the way across.
It was nowhere near a center line fault. Havili backsets Moeller, hits it hard down the line, dug by her counterpart, Stone. They take Havili out of the set. Thrown toward the campfire by Janasia Moore.
Great vision by Moore. She sold that because of her step close into that ball. A fast double arm lift, opening up that opportunity to find that campfire.
Baird was almost forced into a tip there with a lower set. Indy get a great pass. Havili to Scott out of the backcourt. Overhead dig by the Hani. Pittman has the ball in her hand and terminates.
Mojo staying calm in the chaos right now and just finding success on weird random plays, but they're staying calm and patient all the way through them, challenging high up at the net. Pittman does a great job of just reaching high for the ball every time she swings away. Lee still setting in the front row for San Diego. Three-time best setter for the Korean V-League. Has great vision, ball distribution. Stands at 5'10", AJ, so she can touch a lot of balls up there blocking.
Couple of points scored on the middle blocker, Stone's serve. Waiting for the call, and Moore just missed it.
That's a good aggressive swing from Moore. I'd like to see her take that rip again. It is very much open. Just barely out of bounds.
Lee against the flow there to Pittman. A productive swing. A good toss over by Baird. The hustle from Dayong Lee. Scott straddling that attack line. The libero can only use their hands behind the line. Good decision by Moeller. The reaction, though, from Venegas. This is Carly Scott putting an end to that point. That was a high-quality point from both sides.
Scott getting on that big attack. She's broad jumping into the set. Watch as she takes off behind the 10-foot line. You cannot step on or over the 10-foot line, but you can broad jump and land inside, giving you that momentum to swing away.
Indy is trying to get on the comeback trail. Katie Baird, the block.
Still plenty of opportunity for Indy to try and find a last-minute push here coming into the red zone.
Indy as a back row setter. Havili is the server. And that's a big misstep.
Bringing San Diego into rotation one. Setter at the service line. She has all three offensive athletes at the net.
Her third straight appearance off the bench. It came in early for Spencer. To even the match at one. Reagan Pittman tops in the Pro Volleyball Federation. 0.92 blocks per set. And comes up with her third stuff block of the match already through 2 sets. And Maya Tabron, statistical leader as an attacker for San Diego. With 8 kills on 22 swings, hitting 273 with 2 blocks and 3 digs. We have Maya Tabron ready with Victoria.
Offense is off the charts right now for the Mojo. What has been the change from set number 1 to set number 2?
Yeah, I think it's really coming from our defense and our passing. I think we're getting some good balls up, and we want to reward our back row diggers. So I think we're swinging high, we're swinging tall, we're covering, and we're just moving the ball around.
I think we saw the longest rally in PVF history. What is going through your mind through such a long rally?
Yeah, those ones are tough. Honestly, it's like keep the ball in because you don't want to be the one to ruin it, but also it's like you want to be the one to score. So just being smart with your shots, and same thing, covering, defending is also important in long rallies.
Keeping the party going on the court, swinging high and hard.
Yep. Good luck. Thank you.
That is the rookie, Maya Tabron, 3rd round pick. Played collegially at both SMU and Colorado, leading the way through 2 sets for the Mojo, who have tied this match up at 1 set apiece. Going to the break in the intermission between the 2nd and 3rd sets here in San Diego. Indy winning the first set, holding on there 25-22, but then San Diego came roaring back and had control most of the second set, taking it 25-18. 3 stuff blocks so far in the match already from the #1 blocks per set player in the league, Regan Pittman.
Pittman is lethal defensively, continuing to just be disciplined in her eye work. She tracks ball setter, ball hitter, lines up in front of her middles, and then step poses out to her pin. She continues to get up in transition, being a lethal asset offensively, and it's just a huge spark plug. She'll come into the middle of the court and say, let's go, to her teammates, and then has big momentum plays with those blocks.
Trying to get that hitting efficiency up a little bit, but the 3 blocks, very impressive through the first couple of sets. We are here on the campus of San Diego State University in Viejas Arena, where the home team, the Mojo, are in an even split right now with Indy, but with possession of some momentum after having won the second set, 25-18. Indy took the first set by 3. And saw both teams make a couple of changes in the second set. San Diego stuck with their dub sub from the first set. Dayong Lee and Yasmin Badart-Hani, they have been in the rotation ever since. The Indy Ignite have continued to put some reserves in the game and give different people a chance, get some of their starters some rest going into the postseason. They have clinched a trip to Vegas coming up starting next Friday in the semifinals against Omaha. San Diego has been out of postseason contention for a couple of matches now. Blake Moeller gets the third set started with a kill and goes back to serve. Janasia Moore on the first touch, and that is swatted right into the top of the net by Regan Pittman.
Both Indy and San Diego trying to establish their middles early on in the set, trying to open up one-on-one opportunities for their pins.
Going to see Isabel Martin get a front row opportunity here for the Ignite. She's mostly been in a serving specialist role this year. Badart-Hani gets a little piece of the hand up top.
Great high swing, challenging that big block of the Ignite. That's a veteran swing.
Grace Wade, she was known in college as Grace Cleveland, gotten married since then, played collegially at Purdue. Isabel Martin had a crack at it, right back into it, into the block again. Got to go somewhere else. Havili picks Grace Wade. Lee likes to push it to the middles in transition. Isabel Martin with an out-of-system swing. Lee back sets Badart-Hani, that's going to do it.
Another extended rally going in favor of the Mojo. They are just staying patient. They have Pittman working pin to pin, earning block touches for a controlled transition play and point.
Baird shouldn't have let that one go. That was well in bounds.
Seam is left right now in serve receive. So what that means is that wherever your left hand is in that seam, that is your responsibility.
Tell me more about that. You don't hear a lot of conversation about that in serve receive, which seam you're responsible for.
So that's a dialogue that happens between every single point before the server goes back, saying to your teammate next to you, hey, I have your short, I have your deep, I have seam as left. Because you're an outside hitter passing in area 5 right now, I will take your left seam, so you only have to worry about this side left.
This is a 5-0 run. Indy struggling in serve receive right now against Janasia Moore. Martin takes that pass. Grace Wade, that is going back where it came from. San Diego is the #2 blocking team in the PVF.
Pittman is on a mission, and she is here to break some records in the PVF. Great work by Pittman, clamping down back on that ball.
Havili one-handed set, and Okamore is all over the net.
Okamore just a little bit too close, trying to swing through that ball off the top of the tape.
and Tabron the put away. That takes this third set to the 8-point timeout. Indy has reserve players in the match with an eye toward the postseason. I'd say San Franklin Sports is a proud partner of the Pro Volleyball Federation on the Roku Sports Channel. You look at that view here in San Diego, it's hard not to just enter a state of relaxation.
Until I look at what I have to pay for rent.
You didn't have to go there.
It is beautiful to look at, though. I'll give it to you.
In this economy, the least that we could provide the viewing folks is not having to think about that when they're watching volleyball.
Some leisure.
Well, Indy looking to bounce back after allowing an 8-0 run going into the technical timeout, and that's a good way to start.
Grace Wade is playing a really great game at opposite right now. She stands at 6'3" and is showing versatility.
You see the effort from Dayong Lee to feed Reagan Pittman and their middles whenever possible. Good one-handed dig by Lee. Bernard Hani with a high swing, a good block touch. Okamore in transition. She has shown them something since getting a look in the lineup several matches ago. She made her pro debut at Grand Rapids on April 19th. She had never appeared in a match before that, but they're getting something from Okamore, and she's an option come the postseason. The scoop from Baird, and a sloppy touch there got eaten up. Dayong Lee did, so an opportunity here for the Ignite. Martin gets a swing on the outside. Lee back on her feet, setting up Tabron. It's blocked and covered. Bernard Hani inside the net, lefty touch. One-handed touch by Scott. Joust in the middle. You're like, how is that point going to end? It ends that way. Pittman, that was all over the place on both sides of the net, and Indy calls timeout.
Pittman flexing. Showing a gun show over there for San Diego. She contacts the ball second, giving her that opportunity to win that jousting point.
This is to steal a phrase from a former conference that's now, you're going to know what I'm saying here in a second. A collegiate conference that you could say is kind of died, now is coming back to life. This is PVF after dark right now. We're in that mode right now in this match. I've seen a few of these points where you're like, I don't know where this is going, but I'm interested to see.
And we're very excited to see it. San Diego putting on a show on their home court. Have that fire in the belly.
Well, the reigning player of the week, we've been focusing on the middles, great middle blockers on both sides in this matchup. Let's go to Grand Rapids. Ali Bastianelli set a PVF middle blocker record with 20 kills in a match.
Bastianelli is elite. She has been tunnel vision for the duration of the season. 20 kills as a middle blocker is very rare. Number one, because you don't always get the opportunity to hit. Number two, she finds opportunities to make plays, hitting well above 400. She's leading the PVF in blocks as well. She's sitting pretty coming into postseason.
Well, she won't be going into the postseason, but for everyone else, as Wade takes a big swing. Bastianelli, though, known more for her defense, so it's impressive to also contribute offensively like that as Okamore comes up with a kill.
We love seeing middle production in Ignite right now, is finding success with that, trying to run their middles on different routes.
High swing there from Tabron. It's Baird. Lee using one hand, and the connection not quite there with Stone on a tight dig in a difficult spot for Dayong Lee. Well, still early in the third set here. Indy throwing down an early timeout, and now back within 3. within 2.
Ignite finding a little bit of rhythm here, utilizing a couple unforced errors from San Diego.
Venegas, good alert play off the block. Grace Wade hits the floor. Katie Baird loading up. Indy thinks that was a net. There was no call live, and they have to decide split second whether to challenge, and they do. You have 7 seconds to make that decision, whether it be during the point or after the concluding play of the point, if you're going to challenge that.
Indy is challenging net touch.
And they thought they saw a net touch. What a tough spot for the bench to be in. You have to make that split-second call on a difficult play to see.
Well, the whole bench from Indy shouted net and convinced coach to pull that challenge.
Yeah, this is the great thing about Bolt 6. You got to put your money where your mouth is. Easy to...
There's 22 cameras, got to put them to use.
Easy to say, oh, it's a net, looked like a net. Well, now let's actually see. This is the 4th matchup this year between these two teams. Indy, there's a Bolt 6 camera right there. One of the 22. Indy leads the series 3-1, excuse me, 2-1. And this is actually the first meeting here since January 24th, very early in the season, the previous matchup here in San Diego. Each team in the PVF plays every other team 4 times, and they each meet up twice in each home destination. So the Ignite winning both matchups in Fishers, Indiana. San Diego won on January 24th here in this building, the first ever matchup between the two teams. And Indy was right. Tabron went into the net. And just like that, it's 9-8.
Have to try and make that serve in after such a long extended challenge or a timeout. Again, try and have that yellow light swing, put the pressure on the other guys.
That ended a 4-0 run. Bedard Hani missed serve. Been a little feast or famine for her today, because you know you're always going to tolerate some service errors with aggressive serving like her, but she's now had 4 errors today and no aces, although some productive serves. Shara Venegas the set. And that's going into the 3rd row.
Into the splash zone, courtside. Set is front row for both Indy and Mojo. Watch for them to spread pin-to-pin offense.
Pancake from Scott, who yelled up as soon as she got it. Behind the setter, Stone. Indy earns a block touch. Moeller punching it down the line. She knew she had the mark in the back corner.
What a dig from Scott, extending into that pancake, giving Moeller the opportunity to swing high in transition. Fully extended, scrappy play, keeping alive, finding that point. George
Padgett once said, we get to see the Indy airplane celebration here on the ace. He once said that if my life depended on it and I had to pick one player to get the ball up, I would choose Elena Scott. That's what their head coach, George Padgett, said earlier in the season.
I'd say that's a good choice.
Good up from Bedard Hani. Venegas has had a day. Good cover play from her. 18 digs for Shara Venegas. Oh, paintbrush of a swing from Veronica Stone, and Baird is in the antenna, so a point for the Mojo.
uncharacteristic unforced error on the side of Indy. I expect them to work for first ball side out here.
It was against San Diego that Indy finally snapped their 6-match season-high losing streak. Tip kill for Baird and finally clinched a playoff spot. That was last Sunday, a little less than a week ago. And it was a home match for the Ignite, a 3-1 win to snap that 5-match losing streak. They were the final team to clinch a playoff berth, joining Omaha, Atlanta, and Orlando. On the D-ball, but Art Hani over Doug Moore. Does well with it.
What a set from Lee. 19 for San Diego. She's running that offense at a high clip, taking that ball off the top of her forehead, creating space and opportunity for her offense.
Difficult short serve. Into the net, San Diego trying to regain some control in the third set.
San Diego has all 3 offensive threats in the front row. Watch for them to also run that quick bick.
That's a termination for Janasia Moore. She's just having one of those days, though, where right now, looking at the numbers, I mean, San Diego, they're hitting a shade above 110 after that swing. Indy is hitting 065. So the offensive numbers have not been there. That's another hitting error for the Ignite and Katie Baird. This has been a defensive-minded match, to say the least. And that takes this third set to a timeout. 4-0 run for San Diego. Welcome back to the campus of San Diego State University, Viejas Arena, and the home team, the Mojo, in the season finale for both of these squads on a 4-0. Well, we have the family and the boyfriend of Victoria Dennis.
That's my family. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Eric and Mrs. Reck. Showing they are big PVF fans, let me tell you.
Well, how could you not be? They also are big fans of yours, and they got to watch you in this building, I understand, come up with your career high in kills when you were playing in college for UC Irvine. You had 31.
That's correct.
On this floor.
For San Diego State.
It's a lot of kills. The offense has not generally been quite as good today so far. And that's a miss from Moore. Well, that is really close. They just showed the Bolt 6 replay in the building. It was one of those where it was a sliver. Now we see it. If you're one of these setters, how do you get your offense back on track a little bit?
It starts with your passers, trying to get that pass consistent. And if it's not, then try and, talk with your hitter saying, hey, what do you need more or less of from me right now? What are you looking for? What do you feel when you're attacking? And then from an attacker's perspective, say, hey, can you hang the ball maybe a little bit higher? I'm feeling a little bit slow. Let me get that reach up on that ball.
I think smart of you to trace it back to that first touch. Both teams right now passing at only 40% in system. Now, there's, again, a big difference as Grace Wade hits one home that Indy is using mostly reserves at this point, whereas San Diego, pretty much their starting group. Indy with an eye toward the postseason. They've already clinched. They're going to be the 4 seed facing Omaha. Today's result will not affect that. Tabron up and over the top. That's out of bounds. And Indy is back within 2.
Still anyone's ball game here in set 3. Indy needs to try and get on a run here. Sitting in the front row.
And a lot of players, regardless of today's result, though, they're really competing for future jobs. Is a big part of this story for everyone. You know, I just think when you have a younger league like this, it was a good play from Reagan Pittman there. Every draft class early in a league's lifespan has an outsized impact. Look at just how many members of the 2025, or technically, I guess, yeah, 2024, I guess you would say, draft class from last fall have made an impact this year. You're going to have a whole nother draft class coming in next year. So it's going to be even tougher for all of these players to earn a job in next year's version of the Pro Volleyball Federation. So an opportunity for a lot of those players to try and prove what they can do on this stage right now. Got some players on Indy side in particular who are getting, you know, an opportunity they have not gotten most of the year.
Right, and that's the momentum that they're trying to get for signing a contract for next season, a testament to all the rookies coming in from the NCAA level, mid-major, to that top-tier national championship teams or runner-up, all extending this rally. What a play. But AJ, it's a testament to the growth of volleyball in America at the juniors level and creating a stage for young athletes to see, number one, top-tier professional talent inspiring the next generation, and that's filtering into the NCAA, NAIA level, and having an outlet for these athletes now to play on their home court soil.
Saw some rookie draft picks in the picture right there, including number 2 pick Anna DeBeer getting a rest day today. Nice play scraping it over by Havili, but Tabron is open, and she hits.
San Diego fans are rallying around. Let's take a look at Tabron. Lee pushing that ball all the way out. Great hand-to-ball contact, guiding it up and down that line, going thumbs up, finishing on that ball.
Okay, we're about as late as you get in the regular season. There are 2 matches tomorrow, and that's going to do it for the PVF regular season. So let's get Victoria Dennis's MVP candidates.
It'll start with the Brittany Abercrombie, an all-around standout athlete for Orlando, has come into this league her first year playing in the PVF and has just destroyed almost anybody in her way. Snyder out of Grand Rapids, one of my picks because she's so much fun to watch. She's a well-rounded athlete. She is consistent in her game. She shows up every single night and does her job. She's ranked in the league in kills per set and digs per set. Has a lethal serve at that. And hence, out of Atlanta Vibe, digs per set 4.5. Libero's being a little bit of love, and this is me shining that light on Libero's. They are the heartbeat of any single team, and you know what? I had to shout out one.
A little bit of a zag there from you, but interesting takes.
Wanted to shine a light on maybe somebody who wouldn't get that opportunity otherwise.
Baird misses.
Baird trying to find those high hands of the Mojo block. She has Lee blocking her right now, so she doesn't need to swing too high. She stands about 3 to 4 inches taller than Lee. Just have to trust that swing.
Now, Veronica Stone is so fun to watch. I got a fun fact about Veronica Stone. So, obviously, for those that don't know, which you have to be living under a rock, for those in the volleyball community, at least, she's going to be getting married to Packers quarterback Jordan Love. Okay, I'm not breaking any news here to people that follow the sport. But I do have a cool fact that they're both from the state of California. And let's see where this point goes. Hold on. That's fun. Havili with determination. Second over. They're both from California. They both love In-N-Out. And that they're going to have an In-N-Out burger truck at their wedding.
I have been to a wedding from also California that they had the In-N-Out truck there. Chef's kiss, I may say.
Okay. Yeah, they said non-negotiable. They both were in total agreement the entire time that was the path. I think they're getting married coming up this summer. That was quite a cover. Moore rising from the back row. Oh, she makes it work with two hands.
Taking it off the face and just wearing it with a smile. Mojo being able to walk away with that point. Painting the sideline.
Bedart Hani pancake. Havili feeling offensive. Oh, Venegas takes a swing and smiles. Rarely see a libero take a cut. Stone goes sprawling into the first row with that touch. This is another one of those points. PVF after dark type of point going on right now. Okay.
Well, there's nothing you can do except just walk it off.
And know that you're going to the postseason in less than a week if you're Indy. Everyone kind of checking in with Baird after that, saying you're all right. Just laughing it off. Set point for the Mojo. And they'll have to win in serve receive.
AJ,
yeah.
If that happens in my gym with my 17s team, I say it's a box of donuts if you have the ball under the net. Just got to keep it fun and light.
Teams, oftentimes I've heard the players mess around with each other in practice on missed serves under the net. Similar type of thing as well. That's a missed serve that ends the third set. Indy making wholesale changes when they entered the second, and since then it's been all San Diego at home. Entering set 4, this is the regular season finale for both of these teams. For those that are just tuning in, once again, Indy season's going to continue. They will be the 4 seed facing the 1 seed Omaha, 8 o'clock Eastern time in Vegas on Friday. For San Diego, this is the end of the road at 10 and 17. What are some of your overarching thoughts, though? This is nearly the end of the road for the PVF regular season in year 2. Just your takeaways. I think all the way across the league, there's been a ton of growth from year 1 to year 2.
Oh, huge. And we're going to see the same thing happen coming into the 2026 season, especially with that new rookie class coming in, athletes overseas coming back to home soil. It's been so much fun to watch the growth of volleyball, and I coach at the juniors level, and at these national qualifier tournaments that I'm coaching, I have fans, players coming up to me when I'm wearing PVF gear saying, I watch the league, it's so much fun, it's inspiring my daughter, it's inspiring her friends to go out and to play and to see their new heroes that they look up to.
We got a good spirited crowd here in Viejas Arena. One more chance for them to see their home team in 2025. San Diego did make the playoffs last year, lost against Omaha in the semis, gonna fall short this season. And there was no block contact there, so a point for the Ignite, looking to send this to a 5th set, which would go to 15 if we got to that point. The Ignite won the first set, and they had kind of a mixture of starters and reserves in the first set, with this game not mattering for them in the standings and the seeding. They've since taken all their starters out except for Elena Scott, their libero, who went laying out for another one there. The fantastic player, rookie out of Louisville. Lee, Bedart Hani. All the way up, all the way down off the block. And the kill for Bedart Hani.
Great work by Mojo. Lee's doing a really great job of just hanging the ball in her attacker's window, allowing them to swing away.
Gonna make sure the floor is all set up. Nobody could slip. Janasia Moore is gonna serve. Roll increase from where she was last year with Columbus, played in 40 sets. This year she's up over 60 sets played for San Diego. Baird trying to hit line from the right side, and that is a miss. Indy is hitting just around 050 right now for the match.
Hitting line as a right-handed attacker on the right side can be a bit challenging. You really have to make sure that you get your shoulder to the apex of that ball.
Havili gives it to Scott, who covers her own hit. Now it's Baird back on the right side. And Indy earns the block. Baird playing right front with Isabel Martin in the lineup, getting a rare outside hitter opportunity for Indy.
Good discipline block by Indy, lining up and diving back into that seam. Baird getting nothing but ball.
And Indy has switched up their pins all season due to it. Some players getting signed like Katie Baird, some players dealing with injuries. Of course, a potential MVP winner in Lecator member Mena, who is leading the league in kills and points scored when she went down. That's been a huge loss for them. And at one point, Isabel Martin was in there. I should note she had 15 kills and 12 digs against Atlanta. She was one of the many names in the mix. That's bounced by Okamore. The bench was loving that for the Ignite.
That is a highlight reel swing. Okamore up on center ball contact, keeping her shoulders square, and then swinging high and through.
Limited playing time earlier in her college career with Florida. Broke out late in her Florida Gators career and then played 1 year at SMU and performed admirably as well. Legal backcourt, back row attack right there. And Baird back to serve. Baird ace serve.
Baird placing that perfectly high down the line. Trying to serve front row outside.
Well, Baird has the physique to play right side. Outside by trade. Tabron, a big swing.
Great work by Tabron, just staying consistent for San Diego. That's a big grip. San Diego needs to continue that production out of their left side.
Mojo even it up here in the fourth set. What makes Bedart Hani's serve so powerful?
I would say the contact, the point of contact where she's reaching the ball right now is going down. It's not going up and over that net. She stands at 6'4", so that ball is trailing flat and coming straight down at Ignite.
Finished her season in Turkey, signed on March 26th. I think she's one of the more intimidating presences in the league to go up against. She takes something off that serve right there. And Okamore going to town on some middle runs here in the fourth set.
Great production out of the middle. Okamore on that quick tempo set really gives her the opportunity to beat that block of the Mojo.
She is 5 for 10, does have 3 errors. That's a service error for Martin.
Martin trying to settle in a little bit at the service line, now rotating to the back row.
a great day for Shara Venegas, wearing the gold jersey for the Mojo. On the bit, Maya Tabron.
Great work by Tabron on that big attack. Lee does a great job of leading her on that set so she can broad jump and contact the ball in front of the 10-foot line, swinging high and through.
She's the only player in the match with double-figure kills. Maya Tabron has 14 on 40 swings. She also has 4 stuff blocks, 8 digs, and 2 aces. A wonderful all-around game for Maya Tabron, the rookie 3rd-round pick from Gilroy, California. A couple of older sisters who played college sports, one at Vanguard University women's basketball and one on the volleyball team at San Francisco State. Timeout on the floor. San Diego leads Indy in the 4th set 8-7. Hey, welcome back to San Diego. Not that long of a trip away. In fact, Indy is going right to Vegas from this to make sure they're nice and well rested and ready for that 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock local time matchup against Omaha on May 9th in this battle to see who makes $1 million on May 11th.
I think that's a smart choice from Indy, talking with their coaching staff, saying that with the flights and the time change, we might as well just go there. Every girl's going to have a room, kind of separate themselves, and then come back together, try and win that $1 million.
It's a shame Regis Philbin isn't still around. Bring him over there. Who wants to be a millionaire?
There you go. So, hey, maybe that's your calling after this.
Oh, what a play by Elena Scott. Running directly away from the court and brushed that all the way back, but Moore is still able to score.
Great creativity from Moore, 6 foot on the outside. Placement not power there. Last season was with the Columbus Fury, who she helped sweep just the other night.
It's a point for the Mojo once again. Yeah, that was a home match for San Diego. They get 2 straight at home to close the season. They've won 3 straight home matches coming in, so they could potentially beat a playoff team and end their season with 4 straight home victories. Baird from the backcourt. That's going to work for Katie Baird. She was an unbelievably dominant player for Stanford in college. Won a national championship, was a 3-time Pac-12 champion, and was a 2-time All-American, 4-time All-Pac-12 teamer for Stanford. But to bring a player like that in mid-season, again, Chaich and DeBeer might be the starters, it looks like, come the playoffs, but I wouldn't be surprised if Baird plays a pivotal role late in a match at some point.
She will. She's an all-star player. All the accolades that you just named off, Baird knows how to play high-level volleyball. She's a hometown hero out of Indianapolis, and is just excited to be in that Ignite jersey.
Finished her season in Turkey. This is a part of her rookie year as a pro. Anise Havili with the set there to Isabel Martin. Havili is just a pro's pro, brings such a consistent mentality at the setting position for Indy.
She's a 4-time All-American, and she's going to show through here any single time she steps out on the court. She's a gamer.
She's actually, she wasn't at Kansas that long ago. She's already in the University of Kansas Athletics Hall of Fame, class of 2023.
2-time Big 12 Setter of the Year. Assist leader at Kansas, 5,255 assists for Havili.
They're taping up Janasia Moore.
Lee got caught cheating just a little bit there on that defensive play. Released just a half a beat too early. Ignite's offense was able to see that and throw that ball down.
Pittman plays it on serve receive. And that's rocketed down by Vidar Hani.
Who has been so consistent in her game. And she's swinging high with a high elbow. That's all she has to do is swing high and hard and good things happen.
Off the top of the tape and down. An ace for Janasia Moore, who just had her hand taped up, it looked like a moment ago. We just saw him on the bench, Noel Carpio, one of the assistant coaches for San Diego before this match, how he's in charge of hitting a lot of balls at players, trying to get them warmed up, passing and digging before every single match and oftentimes in practice. And I watch him as Baird rips one right there. The assistant coach we just showed on the bench, Noel Carpio, he has all 5 fingers taped up with this heavy tape. And we asked him about the whole, he doesn't have them taped up now because he's not hitting right now, but just the purpose of doing that. And Victoria, you heard his response and could relate to it.
I can relate. When you hit so many down balls or you're repping out as the outside hitter on the pin trying to hit, you get little paper cuts because your hands get so dry from hitting so many down balls. It dries out your skin and you get these little tiny paper cuts that aren't too fun to have. So you tape your fingers so you don't get those cuts.
Your hand just starts bleeding. He hits the ball so hard, warming these players up. Good dig from Pittman. And a put away from Vidar Hani.
Vidar Hani swinging high and through into that seam. There back in area 1. Great vision allowing her to earn that point.
Speaking of tape jobs, we've been looking at Ronica Stone now for a while as well in the front row for San Diego. Has had to play for a good chunk of time with, and now they're looking at something. Carly Scott, she is a player who, you know, is an important piece for Indy, at least at minimum, as a serving specialist come the postseason, and honestly is maybe be the first option if somebody is struggling in serve receive to come in and play a pin role. So hopefully she's all right. Indy scores there. My point, by the way, Ronica Stone's been gutting through an injury. Her thumb is taped on her right side. She also has heavy tape application through 2 fingers on her left hand. And clearly playing through some finger issues, which is tough to do.
And is still able to come out and make a difference in the ball game. 2 blocks for her, 3 kills.
She's been dealing with those injuries for a while at this point and still putting up good numbers. Vidar Hani starting to take control in the match. She has a double-double. She's 11 for 26 with just 3 errors, hitting close to 300 and 12 digs. And that swing there from Yasmin Vidar Hani takes this match to a timeout. San Diego in front. Some of the Ignite key players looking on. Expect to see a whole lot from Sydney Hilly, Anna DeBeer, Lydia Martin, CC Crawford, Nina Chaich, and more come the postseason. Ajani Teeler not pictured. She is an MVP candidate who's mostly... No, she has not played today. They didn't play even in the first set, Teeler. They did start in the first set with Hilly at center before replacing her pretty quickly with Havili. And Lydia Martin, who's missed some time with a lower back injury, at least getting her a look, getting her just back out there, get a feel for it, play the first set. Solo block for Stone.
Stone diving into that ball and finishing her right shoulder back into the court. It's her vision that gives her this opportunity to track the ball and then throw it back down, pressing her shoulder.
Double-figure blocks now for San Diego as a team. Both teams in double figures in the stuff block column. Indy leads that category 12-11 as Kylie Murr comes in to serve.
Mojo have to work for a first ball side out to close out set number 4, especially coming into the red zone. They have a front row setter with Lee right now. Watch for them to spread that offense.
Missed serve by Murr. Stone is up to 3 blocks individually, although she is hitting negative on 20 swings. Reagan Pittman also struggling a bit efficiency hitting-wise, but has 4 blocks. Big reason why San Diego is in front. Little blocker production as blockers. Back set from Venegas, who has 25 digs in this one. Nobody's going to get that. Okamore. It's a new career high, by the way, for Venegas with those 25 digs. Teeler is going to come in now. She's going to check in into this match and serve. Teeler is top 3 in the league in points scored. This is the ultimate service sub. Scott. The slide for Stone, takes something off of it.
Good vision there by Stone. The ball dropped pretty rapidly. She just found a solution play. She didn't have that green light swing. She was able to find the solution with that off-speed shot. Middle production has been consistent for San Diego this season, with Pittman and Stone being able to put balls away and also get up defensively.
I guarantee you they want to bring those two back. I mean, obviously you're going to finish, depending on the result today, if you're San Diego, either 11-17 or 10-18. Going to want to make some changes, but the problem has not been the middles. And Stone and Pittman, that's another good play from Anise Havili going over on 2. Double-figure service errors for both teams as well, though San Diego, to their credit, has 6 aces. Indy with just 3. Harley Scott, saved by Havili off the floor. One-handed by Havili. It's a good touch by Tabron. An opportunity for Bedard Hani. Scooped by Havili, a good defensive point for the setter. Venegas, pump set, Bedard Hani. Scott hitting it high, looking to end the point one way or the other. And she ends it in the opposing team's favor. But there's a block touch challenge coming.
Indy is challenging block touch.
I mean, you look at it the same way I do. It's like, all right, this point is going to end here. Either this is getting a piece of a hand or it's going out, but this is it.
They don't want another 30-minute rally.
Scott, I think, had had enough there. It was just going to go for it.
Scott was obviously trying to find those high hands. Not sure if she's going to see it here in this challenge, but Havili trying to distribute the ball yet again. Ignite have Murr in the back row. 2 elite, once collegiate liberos, Scott and Murr there for Ignite.
There another just blue-collar slugfest of a rally. It's good for George Padgett just to get his team a little bit of a break there as well. This one's taking a little bit longer to determine the result of. You know, all this too, though, valuable data points for those Indy's going to lose the challenge. It was close. Valuable data for the coaches really all season, dating back to last year. You know, and for Indy is a first-year coaching staff for them to figure out what is our system with challenges. When we get into the playoffs and the score is now 23-21 and we need to decide whether to challenge this point or not, how do we make that decision or not? That stuff is going to matter in the postseason.
Absolutely going to matter. And it's another one of those in real game time experiences and vibes, to say the least.
What did I say before? Bedard Hani is one of the more intimidating players to go up against. Great sportsmanship there right away. Of course, she was not trying to do that, but what I mean by that is she's 6'4". She comes from such a steep angle, and she hits it so hard.
Barrett taking that like a champ. She hit her point blank right on the forehead.
Just tough to stop when she's got it going. Great dig. Can give it to Moore out of the back row. Of course, as soon as that last point ended, Bedard Hani was quick to say to Barrett, I hope you're all right. Pittman flexing on him.
Defense upon defense. It starts with Vegas, libero, Venegas for San Diego, and then Pittman finishing with that monster block in the middle. Defense is locked in for the Mojo.
Isabel Martin. Back to Bedard. Oh man, Bedard Hani with a dart.
Another huge shake, more in middle back defense. Bringing and reacting, giving this potential match point to the Mojo.
Yasmin Bedard Hani, out of Los Angeles originally. It is match point in the season finale for the Mojo. Elena Scott sending a message to her team with that effort heading toward the postseason. Even at 24-17 in a match that doesn't matter for Indy in the standings going to the playoffs coming up next. Look at that effort from Scott.
Do or die athlete. It doesn't matter if she's playing in the PVF or backyard volleyball. She's going to
takes a seat as the middle blocker, Moeller serves. Second match point, Lee. Bedard Hani all on her own. Great dig by Havili there. Indy sticking around. San Diego is thinking about challenging. Now the buzzer sounds. They're going to challenge.
San Diego is challenging a net touch.
If nothing else, it's a free timeout. Stop a little bit of Indy momentum.
Indy setting that foundation again of laying out Scott on defense, coming in postseason play. All of the fans inside Viejas Arena on their feet right now.
I think either way, a smart challenge from last year's PVF Coach of the Year, Taiba Hanif Park. Wasn't quite the season that she was looking for from her team this year. On the verge of finishing 11-17 after making the postseason last year, falling just short this year. Congratulations to her, though, as Indy's going to still win that point. No net fault. Recently announced as a USA Volleyball Hall of Famer. Taiba Hanif Park got a chance to win a fourth straight home match to end the season. Finishes it off for the Mojo. They beat Indy in their regular season finale. 4 straight home wins to close the regular season for San Diego, but it is on to Vegas. Indy knows they're going to the postseason as the 4th seed.
Indy has to feel good coming into postseason play. They're trying to find that momentum going into Vegas for that $1 million match. The Mojo challenged them, came out with a victory. A lot of middle production, distributing their offense at a high clip.
This was the lone match tonight in the PVF. There are 2 more regular season matches across the league. Omaha at Atlanta. The first and second place teams squaring off tomorrow on Roku channel, and then Columbus at Vegas tomorrow on CBS Sports, all setting the stage for these matchups in Vegas coming up next week. For our entire fantastic crew here in Viejas Arena on the campus of San Diego State University and Victoria Dennis, I'm AJ Cannell saying so long. The San Diego Mojo in their regular season finale at home defeat the Indy Ignite in a 4-set decision.